Ooh, we are live. Live. Here we are, live. SharkCast Pod. Welcome to the first team list Tuesday for the year. This is SharkCast Pod. We are a podcast dedicated to the greatest sporting club in the history of the world. I'm a gentleman thrown, but I'm getting my composure. And I'm with the great Dan Nichols from Fins Up and 4,000 other podcasts that he appears on. But Dan is a respected, integral member of the Sharks community. My name is Sam Shinazzi, OG SharkCast Pod. We're here to dissect and talk about the team to play the Warriors this week. And what's going to make it even more exciting is that Dan doesn't know the team. I've had a quick look. Dan doesn't know it. Just quietly, he's going to be pretty happy. But I need to tell you, from a business point of view, this show is brought to you by Dyson Logistics, the Royal Motor Yacht Club in Port Hacking, and Jason Hawes from Cripps & Cripps Real Estate. Shout out to my son Chester for giving up the fortnight for a few minutes to let us get online and talk. But Dan, we're here to talk about the team to play the Warriors this week. Sharks Stadium, we're calling it. The kickoff will be 7:30 p.m. I believe there's only one game at the ground for those people heading down. And if you're a member, just show your pass, show your digital pass. You get in, no worries. If you're not, get a membership, but otherwise you can purchase a ticket to get in. But without further ado, Dan Nichols, our team for the year. And there's a lot of storylines here, my man. Just looking at it, storyline. Your fullback this weekend, and this won't make you happy, is Will Kennedy. Will Kennedy will be starting fullback this week, and we'll get into it. One of your wingers, and I find this interesting as well, is Sione Katoa, the Tongan fisherman, on one wing. We'll get to it. In the centers, the young but veteran-like and well-respected Mawini Hiroti gets a shot in the centers. The other side of the centers, current boyfriend of yours, Mr. Kale Iro, is going to play. And speaking of boyfriends for Dan, it's all about Dan the Savo. Number 5, same initials as my good self, Sammy Stonestreet, will be on a starting wing for trial number 1. Our halves are Dan Atkinson and Nephi Peru. Mm-hmm. So Atkinson and N. Peru will be playing in the halves. Your front row, as it stands, pretty good. The returning, dare I say, BHU, Braden Hamlin-Welly, out to prove a point, most notably to Dan Nichols. The other prop, rumors circulating all around him, Tall Tom Hazelson, or as you call him, Big Bald Tom. Mm-hmm. Your hooker is Jaden Beryl. Your back row is very interesting and a little bit unpredictable here. Your starting back row for the first trial is Sifa Talakai, the legendary Billy Burns, and locking the scrum in the middle is Oregon Kafusi.
Okay.
Now we go to the immediate bench, and it's pretty good. New boy. Not quite sure how we're pronouncing it yet. Hohepa Peru, the Peru brother from Canberra to Cronulla. Some raps on him. He's number 14. 15 is Big Tuku, which would be great to see him out there. 16, and I'm just hearing some whispers around town. There's a lot of good raps about this kid. Lachlan Crouch on the immediate bench, Dan Nichols. And number 17 is Blake Hosking. Now, rounding out the This is pretty good. Rounding out the extended bench, because you can have, I think, 27 to 28 players this year as opposed to 26 last year. Some good young players. And I think you're going to like this. 18 is Chris Vaiella, who was very nearly a first grader last season. 19 is Kyle Pickering. 20 is the young and fabulous Michael Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
21 is Brad Thurling. 22 is Taj Ford.
Oh, yes.
23, the youngster on the rise, climbing up the pecking order. 23, Riley Pollard. 24 is Eli Clark. 25 is Christian Dixon. And the last two guys, after this weekend, Dan, and for the hardcore who are watching and on the show right now, already cult personality favorites, cult of personalities. Felix Fartelli in 26. And how many Sams can you have in one team? Never enough. Samuel McCulloch will be in 27. So, Dan, I know I dragged that out quite a bit, but there's a mixture of young and experience in this team. What's your initial thoughts there?
First of all, I don't think I've been this quiet for so long, so congratulations on that. And I mean, since I learned to speak, maybe this is probably a little bit stronger than I expected the first trial team to be. There's two very obvious storylines there that I'll leave for you to bring up in a few minutes, but there's a lot of players that you just named that people are going to get to know real quick via either myself, yourself, or just watching, because Bar TV picked up everything. You can watch everything the Sharks play now. On stream, so quick plug for our mates over there. That extended bench excites me very, very much. I'm a bit the only real shock there is Kafusi at 13, which I kind of like, because I would think the next lock up might be Talakai or McCulloch, and obviously they're like, hey Kafusi, if you can play this role, perhaps that benefits the team. I love Hamlin being named, mate. I think he's got to prove himself. I think he will. Big Bold Tom, obviously, they're the next two men up. Love that. I love the fact there's no Fanua Blake. It's a complete waste of time getting him out early. I know people will be disappointed not to see him live. You never play your best players in the first trial. Nico's obviously injured. Trindle will play, and Nico will play the All-Stars next week, so that's the best trial prep you can get. Mate, I love the side. There's no one missing there that you mentioned that I'm like, oh, they should have named him. Harodi being named over Chris Vaiella, probably not a shock, but probably shows the next man up mentality, which I like. But maybe there's an edge there that excites me very, very much. And I think there's a storyline there. And if not, I'm certainly going to make one.
Let's just run through the Warriors team while we're here.
Please.
And it's kind of legit.
Yeah.
So Chance is at fullback. DWZ is on one wing. Another fella called RTS is on the other wing.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Aui Lauatiti Jr., I'm going to call him, is in centers with Adam Pompey. We have Tamari Martin and Luke Metcalf, former Shark, in the halves. New recruit we'll be seeing, James Fisher-Harris, Wade Egan, Mitch Barnett. The back row is Jacob Laybourne, former Shark, Kurt Capewell and Aaron Clark. And the bench and so forth, some guys you know, some guys you won't know. But it's essentially, oh, you know what? This might hurt you a little bit. Number 26, Sam Healy's playing.
That's what he does.
But I would say that is, 9/10 of the Warriors, for want of a better equation, team. Like it's pretty legit there. So first of all, don't get too alarmed if we don't come away with the bickies. But they obviously just have their intention of starting well early, the Warriors. I wouldn't go that way, but that's what they're doing. I want to start with the fullback, Will Kennedy. Now, I have no doubt that he'll be the starting fullback this year for the start of the season, I should say. He is off contract. I think if he doesn't re-sign, I don't think that will affect his status as starting fullback this year unless he's out of form. If he does re-sign, then happy days, beautiful. But I'm a little surprised that he's starting. Is your boy injured? He's not listed in the 27.
When you said Kennedy, I was fully expecting Ison to be on the extended bench, straight swap at halftime. The other one there, obviously, is Katie Dykes, who is the other option at fullback, not named either.
Yeah.
He's coming back from 30 different injuries, so there's always a chance that he's hurt, unfortunately. I'm shocked to see Kennedy because they could have just put Vela at fullback, or they could have put Hiroti at fullback. Katoa's played there in the past for Newtown. It says to me, Oi, go out and play fullback, Will. We'll see how you go. I don't think he'll play more than 40 minutes. I think they'll put someone else at the back. It doesn't particularly matter who. But it does – that Warriors team is legit. And he's going to get – if he's thinking this is a trial, this is no trial. This is a legit hit-out, especially with those wingers running at him. I think it's good for Will because I think if he has a good game, it's going to shut a lot of people, myself included, right up.
I don't know how to read it because – I do know that the club knew that the Warriors were picking a full-strength team, so it might have been, well, let's throw in some experienced guys in at least a couple of the key positions. And that, I mean, he's the most experienced spine guy right there.
Yeah.
But it might also be, hey, there are other guys coming up here. Let's see what you got. Maybe there's the notion that give him 2 games before Vegas to get into that Will Kennedy kind of starting mode. Sometimes he starts a bit slow. So it could be a number, or it could just be, hey, you're playing. There might not be a storyline, to be fair. But that's what struck out to me, first of all. Now, can we read into anything here with Sione Katoa playing? Because I would have thought I forgot who I was talking to. I would have thought our wingers were pretty established for round 1. Doesn't mean they're not up for debate, but for round 1, do you think, take your one Sam's and other Stone Street eyes out, do you think there is anything in this, or it's just he's playing?
I think it's hey, Sione, there's a pretty good kid on the other wing who's pushing you, so you best be at your best. I don't think Katoa ended the season particularly well, and maybe it's a bit of a, hey, come on, look what's on the other side, mate. We need your best football. I also think that the Stone Street Euro connection is going to score 1 million tries for Cronulla over the next 10 years. So I think this is a prelude. Yes and no is the answer to this. Stone Street's not playing round 1. Oh, he'll play round 1 for the Jets. He's not playing Vegas unless there's an injury. That's simple. Ronaldo's your rusted on number 1 winger by a mile, and then there's the other one. There's definitely there's a reason he's playing, because if he wasn't, you can just throw Vale or Hiroti on a wing and say, hey, go for it. Or Dixon. Dixon played heaps in New South Wales Cup last year. He can handle the jump up. Yeah. Especially, I think the Warriors will play full strength at half time, and then you'll see players you've never even heard of in the second half. But I think it's don't get too comfortable, Sione. Although, as someone actually asked me earlier, when do you expect Stone Street? And I said, look, magic round at the earliest is when you start making changes, and I think it's the same for Kennedy. But I think Stone Street, if he has a big game against one of those absolute legend wingers, not forgetting that Wateni Zelezniak took Stone Street apart at Cronulla in that last play, scored in the corner, maybe it's it's a chance, it's a trial, we know, go out and get him. Sione on the other wing. What do you got, mate? Because, some options.
Interesting. And, I mean, Kale playing, he's definitely a starting centre for us. Is that fitness? Is that just... I don't know. Can we look into this too much? He's starting for us.
Yeah, I think it's purely fitness because he didn't play for New Zealand, or he would have been picked if he was fit over Timoko, who pocketed twice. I think he'll play 40 because Vela and Gabriel have got to get some minutes. Those two are probably the next man up with Hiroti on the other side. I think it'd be good, and I think this was a way for Cronulla to say, hey, Dan, you coming to this game, because I certainly am. So there's probably that. So you earn your 20, 50 bucks on people. But I think this is purely get some minutes under your belt because we're going to need you in Vegas.
All right. So you think we'll have Katoa and Harodi next to each other?
Well, look, yes, because of the you put Stone Street, you put Eero on his preferred left, and you just swap Ronaldo with Stone Street. It's Eero on Stone Street's your combo, and on the right, I think Harodi's got to get used to playing both sides. I can't remember where he plays for Newtown. It's always different to what the team sheet says. And you leave Katoa on he's earned the right to play right wing, so I think he's got to start there.
Okay. So halves, Atkinson and Nephi Peru. I mean, for Peru, it's a big reward for having a great Cup season last year. Was he Cup Player of the Year, or was he just the grand final man of the match? He had some accolade, I'm sure.
Yeah, he was. It was very good. He set a try assist out at the yin yang, which is really good. But
it was an improved season from him, definitely.
Oh, big time, and he learned to tackle a little bit too, which is good. I like this halves combo because obviously Atkinson's next man up. That's a huge thing, and I think Peru is probably the next one because Pollard's too young, and I don't know where Dykes is fitness wise.
Just to Jason's point on screen, Max Bradbury not named, but he is definitely very much on the comeback trail. And I believe I got my math wrong. I think he's expected earlier rather than later. And same with your boy Colquhoun as well. For some reason, I had him like later in the year, but he's expected a bit earlier, which is fantastic. So, but just on Max, Jason. Thanks for watching, by the way, Jason. Max is definitely on the comeback trail, so hopefully for him, much like Colquhoun, he can just stay fit and show everyone that he can compete at the top level. He's still young, which is awesome. He got re-signed for another year, so they obviously believe in him. But yeah, Nephi Peru on the big stage, at least for the trials round one against Martin and Metcalf. So that's two handy players. I'm assuming that's the Warriors starting halves this year, right? Metcalf will get the job. Juz said, surprised to see so many first team players, and he needs me to see Dykes back. Katoa was our best against Panthers. Yeah, I agree with that. On Dykes, I don't know. Have you heard anything, Dan? I haven't got anything officially.
I know he was running on Instagram, but I'm not sure of the comeback trial. I'll just leave that with you. I'll be 2 seconds. Sorry, Shinazzi.
No worries. No
Same
problem at all.
McCulloch for me.
So, Jar's not sure when Dykes is back, but he's definitely training, as is Max Bradbury and a few of those other guys. Colquhoun's getting a lot closer, which is awesome. So we should be getting those young guys back, and hopefully they can just stay injury-free because they've had such a wretched run. We're excited to get down to Shark Stadium. They're calling it this year. You can call it Shark Park, of course. It's a 7:30 kickoff. It's going to be on KO, and I'm assuming on Fox Sports. Of course, I should know that. And get down to the ground if you can. Trials are always a lot of fun, and I believe it's the only game being played. I saw a couple of Sharks employees this morning down at the cafe, and they told me as such. So we'll take that as gospel. It's the only game being played. Braden Hamlin-Welly, man, he's due for a big year. He's had a lot of injuries, and I know that he will be out to, I guess, prove some of the doubters wrong. And Tom Hazelton starting as well is very interesting. Get some minutes into those big units. What do you guys reckon about Talakai? Talakai playing a trial match. I don't know how I feel about that. I think he's a guy that I wrap in cotton wool and just unleash him in round one. Do you guys have any opinions on that? Love to hear your thoughts. We'll be down at the ground this Friday, and we'll do a podcast afterwards, hopefully a live stream as well. So if you want to jump on board there, feel free to jump into the comments. We'll give you a link to jump on the show and have you say about the trial match and how all that goes. And what else have we got here? Billy Burns, super happy for Billy Burns. He's had a great year for the Jets last year. Obviously, some big grand final moments, and he will have a chance to sort of try and get a bench spot or be 18th man. He's always around there, and he had a really good year last year. A couple of those guys, him and Peru, definitely earned their spots, and Oregon Kafusi in the middle lock is just fascinating. Fascinating. Dan, Oregon Kafusi playing in the middle.
I like it. He did a bit of that for Para, so I can't see why.
Well, he's got a big motor, doesn't he? He played, a couple of games last year he played whole halves and then 10, 15 minutes second half.
He's I think you're going to see the forwards used differently this year because Cronulla Blake's going to be your battering ram. Your first hit up every set and probably your fourth hit up, hopefully. So I think diversity will help. Plus, obviously, with Jack Williams out, who's your next up lock? Maybe it's Kafusi. Look, Colquhoun's obviously the one I want to, and I'm saying obviously a lot, but obviously Colquhoun's the next man up for me. But he's not going to play until probably around 8 or 9 once he gets some minutes under his belt for the Jets. So maybe Kafusi's put his hand up and said, hey, I can play lock too.
It's pretty badass. I mean, Cam McInnes has a minor injury. I'm hoping he'll be ready for the second trial match. And he is obviously your starting captain, and he's an amazing player. But I don't mind the idea of a big bopper there as well out the back. He's very mobile. I mean, he's a very big human, so he's not overly mobile. But for a prop, so to speak, he's a mobile middle, Oregon Kafusi. And, that's really thrown me. I love it. I really like it. It's thinking outside the box a little bit. What do you reckon about your boy Tuku? What sort of a year is he going to have? Is he going to get much of a shot, do you think?
I think he's – so I think Atkinson's going to play. So you got 3 bench spots, which will be Talakai, probably Hazelton and Ueli to start with. Obviously, Toby's got to come back into that. So Toby and Colquhoun too. So he's probably third man up. And I think if he has a few big bench stints, because he's going to play off the bench, he's not going to start. I like this. I wouldn't have named him to start because he's not going to play that role for the Sharks. I just have this feeling that Cronulla Blake can play 30, 10 minutes off, he plays the last 30. Who can play 20 minutes and give big impact? The biggest bloke in the world in huge tooks. So I think ultimately that's his role for me. He was way too good for New South Wales Cup last year. He was ginormous in every game he played for Newtown. So he's ready. His motor wasn't good. I don't think that's unfair to say. It definitely improved by the end of the year. Played some big minutes for Newtown. Don't know if he had the trust of Fitzgibbon to get the big minutes in first grade, but they've obviously re-signed him, so they're high on this kid, and I am too. Like when I say huge, he's huge. So I hope to see lots of him this year, mate. He's a huge prospect.
Yeah, if they can get that right, they have a very unique player in their team. Like, there's not many of these guys around. Like, he is legitimately the biggest person I've ever seen. And, he's got all the skills. Like, he's never really let us down at the top level. I'm like, you might have missed a tackle or two or whatever, but there's never been a disastrous moment. He's had some good moments, scored in Melbourne. I hope they really persist with him and at the right time give him a shot, or whether it's a gradual thing. The only person I really compare him to, whether it's right or wrong, is Franklin Pele, just because they were both, ginormous humans. But they're different players, for starters, obviously. And I think Tuku has better discipline on the field and just a bit more, football brains, dare I say, than what we saw at Franklin. And I love Franklin, but I think Tuku could have a really long career if he can find the right way to be used. I think he's got everything there. He's a fit dude. He's got the aggression, but he seems to sort of play by the rules as well, which is what you want. And I hope we see a bit of Tuku this year.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you got to remember that we got a lot of players off contract, and you can't keep them all. If Newcastle come with $500,000 and a starting spot, I think Bold's headed up the M1. Like, I just don't think you can keep them all because we got 2 starting spots and we got like 5 blokes playing for it. Yeah. Tuke's coming up. He and Colquhoun are the next 2 for me. I think Colquhoun's undoubtedly the better player, but he's about 15 kilos less.
Yeah.
And I mean, it depends if you want the bloke playing in the middle who can pass the ball, play a little bit of Wade Graham role ball playing wise, can give you 20 hit-ups, can give you 50, 60 minutes, you go Coleman. Or if you want a bloke that's going to go out there for 8 minutes and smash blokes, you go with the 7-foot-tall, 120-kilo brick of muscle, So there's definitely a role there for him.
Yeah, I guess I just want him to be the 20-minute player, not the 7-minute player, because one of the big reasons that we didn't hang on to Royce Hunt, who was in career best form, was that he didn't have the motor that we needed. And he's 8 years older than Tuku, so Tuku's got time on his side. But I think most times you're going to pick the Calhoun attributes over Andre the Giant for 7 minutes, you know what I mean? Unless in those 7 minutes he's like Braun Breaker going nuts, you know what I mean? So getting a bit rumbly there for everyone. But very fascinating to see how that's going to play out. Have you watched a lot of Lachlan Crouch?
Not as much as I'd like. Terry's huge on this kid. He and some of the names you'll mention in a minute, he's monstrous on. I was real impressed with the Flake boys late last year. And I think Crouch might have played 1 or 2 games for Newtown. I can't remember. They were switching in between. There was a whole heap of injuries in the Jets. But you're gonna see some Pickering and some Hosking. They're Jets legends. I think that's fair to say. Crouch will probably be behind them in the pecking order for the Jets. So I'm excited to see what he does. It will be a big opportunity in front of what will be a lot of eyes because people are rugby league staffed.
Yeah. Now, I had the fortune of talking to the coach last week. You can go listen to that on our podcast feed. How do I say this? The coaching staff see a lot of potential in Lachlan Crouch. So I'm not surprised to see him in this list. And, he needs time. But I'll be interested to see how he goes this week and then if they back it up the week after, because the week after you'll see the main team play for 40 minutes. They might come out for the second half or the third quarter, however they do it, but won't be much more than that. And there's going to have to be a bunch of guys, the B team, the second team, to come out. So I wonder if Lachlan will be part of that, given that he's 16 this week. It's a good sign. I would have thought he was maybe down the list a little bit in this order. And the order can always change, but it's a good indication of what we're going to see first up. So, great stuff. And, the rest of the team, as you have said, people who do watch lower grades, there's a lot of tasty players there. And starting with Chris Vaiella, who legitimately almost played starting NRL last year during the latter half of the year, towards the end of the year. He was legitimately penciled into play if one guy went down. So they obviously have a lot of faith in Chris. So hopefully he gets out there. You heading out, Dan, to the game?
Yeah, mate, I'll be there. I mean, you named Stone Street Hero. You got me. We quickly with CV. He's scored a try last year against the Bulldogs, I believe, in the trial. Picked the ball up, brilliantly reacted and ran in 30, 40 metres. Great celebration. It was really fun. He's another that's too good for New South Wales Cup. We got about 6 of them, which is why I'm so confident in the Jets going back-to-back this year. Yeah, I kind of wish he got a game because there was a game where we had the name Talakai in the centres and you couldn't throw Vaiella in as a rookie. I wish he had those 2 or 3 games under his belt. Yeah. But I dare say the Talakai centre days are done because there's about 4 or 5 players you name that can fill in at centre, which is good for everyone involved.
I hope so. I like we're both on the same picture there with the Talakai thing. We completely understand why he does get picked, but also, there comes a time, and I think we're at that time now. You never say never. But we also have Sam McCulloch, and people will know him from watching the Flag games last year. Very noticeable, long blonde hair, very Cronulla looking guy, if I can say that, harking back to the old days. and a handy player, handy middle lock.
Mm-hmm.
Young still, and with a bit to prove. The fact he's named at 27, along with Felix Fartilli at 26, that says to me they're down the bottom of the pecking order, but they're still in the group, and they've been training with the main squad for a couple of years now, and they're very much in the picture for the future. They probably just need to take another step up. For those who haven't seen Felix, if you listen to Dan's podcast with Terry, they talk about him quite a lot. In fact, Terry talks about him. I think he just likes saying his name, Felix Fartilli. But Felix is actually taller than Terry. Felix is I don't know, is he 6'5"? I don't know what he is. He's very tall.
Very 6'6". He's the bloke that during flag everyone would be watching and go, "Look at the size of that guy." That's Felix Fartilli. And if they also say, "God, that guy with the beautiful hair," that's McCullough. And if you'd seen this guy's pre and post match interview in the flag, just for those that don't know, we lost flag in heartbreaking circumstance. Probably should have won it on the bell. 11 wins in a row, whatever it was, got beaten by a very, very good Bulldogs team. They put a microphone in McCullough's face, and I'm expecting the F-bombs and the S-bombs and this and that. He handled it with perfection. It was such a mature interview. I was 9.5 out of 10 sold on this kid, and I'm 11 out of 10 sold on that. For a long, long time, but mate, he's got football brain. You don't say that about any kids.
Yeah, he's got all the attributes. So whether he's a Shark or if he goes somewhere else at some point, like I think you will be seeing him in the NRL. So keep an eye on those guys. I did just lose my train of thought. Felix Fartilli. Felix has also got a bit of bulk on him, right?
Size. Yeah, we're not pressed for size, mate. I was watching the SG Ball and the Harold Mats the other day, and our forwards were 6'4" and running over the top of their blokes. I can't remember this at Cronulla. We always had the small forwards that work hard. Now we've got the big forwards that work hard. There's no shortage of size in that system. Beat
the Penrith Juniors too. That's pretty good.
Yeah, on both. We were losing 12-0 in one and 14-0 in the other, and we won both. So it's now those starts, boys.
Yeah. Yeah, and as Dan said, what's the website, the app you can watch it on?
Bar TV, it's called. It's $20 a month, so it is an investment. For people like me that have no life outside this football club, very much worth it. Otherwise, just follow me on Twitter. I post too much, but I'll put all the funny highlights and stuff up and give you the full rundown. We got a new list of agendas. We're recording first one tonight on Fins Up, so check out the new agendas. But you may have mentioned one or two just quietly, Sam.
The thing that horrifies me about what you just said is follow me on Twitter.
Look, it's a win and a loss.
I follow you on Twitter, and there are good days and there are bad days.
There certainly are, mate, and I own the bad days. They're the real good days.
It's all real. I'll give you that. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. It's not all real, but when it's real, it's real.
It's definitely not all real. Yeah, but yes, it is fun. But anyone who wants to say hello on Friday, we'll have the kids with me, but please come say hello. Yeah, little bit different to how I present on Twitter. I'll cop that.
Yeah, you're a nice chap. That's for sure. I hate to break the bubble, but you're a nice dude. It's going to be cool to be out there. Haven't been out there for a long time. I don't even remember what the last game was at Shark Park, but it's going to be fun to be out there. And then we go down to Canberra the Thursday after. So the Friday into the Thursday, and that works out well because after that they're going to be traveling to America, obviously. So that's why there's 3 weeks of preseason football, and the 4 teams. Is that right, Dan? The 4 teams are playing the first week of preseason. Is that right?
Yeah, 1 and 2. So we'll play Friday, and then Penrith play Canberra on Saturday, also at Shark Park. Then next week we play Friday. Thursday, I think they play Friday or Saturday, and then off, and then the rest of them play week 3, which is great because there's no week between. Oh, heavenly.
Yeah, right. Because then it's us in Vegas. That's pretty good. I mean, I don't know if I want to encourage people to go down or not. I guess I do want to, but Penrith are playing at Shark Park on Saturday. They don't have a home ground for a few years. They're using our home ground just for the preseason, and it's probably from a production point of view that all the TV business will be down there on the Friday. You just keep it down there on the Saturday. That's how that kind of stuff works.
Have you heard the other visitors to Shark Park this year?
I have. Don't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the Ninja Cup or is it the A-League? Or am I off the track?
No, it's the New South Wales Premier League. I don't know what they call it this year. It could be the Ninja Cup. So former Salo Sharks have renamed to Sharks FC overnight. They'll be playing a couple of games at Shark Park, which will be fun.
No, Ninja League is, I'm sure you know, is the W League. Okay, so Sharks FC are playing at Shark Park.
Yes, they are, and they're playing the former Olympic Sharks, who are now Sydney Olympic. That's a deep cut. Maybe 10% of people will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we got so much Sharks, and obviously Miranda Seymour Shaw, for those listening, is getting relayed. So Shark Park will host the Shark FC soccer team.
And when is that in our season of league?
It is. I think it's in about 3 weeks, and then they play about 4 games over that time. It doesn't clash with the other now Sharks, obviously.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see because those games are streamed on YouTube. So I think the optics will be nice. Obviously, the stands will be empty, but I'm excited to see that. And look, it's a few more bucks into our kitty too, because I'm sure we're not giving it to them for free.
Yeah, no, I'd head down to that if I'm not doing anything. Jason has said, I have Tukes in front of ULA, all depending on ULA's form. I hope he finds form from a year or two ago. Otherwise, he might be one to miss out. So thanks for that, Jason. And I want to chuck up this from the new guys. I think they're the new guys. I apologize if they're not. Shark Cage. Now, I don't have a lot of info about Shark Cage, but I know that I think it's a gentleman or a group who are trying to get everyone together at the ground and do supporter-like things, which I know our other friends do as well. So I don't know how that's all going to work out, but wanted to give Shark Cage a little shout, like the little logo there. So they're on the Insta. They might be on the Facebook. Give them a follow. Can't be following too many Sharks things these days. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate that.
I believe they call it the Grandpa.
You've lost me.
Just my kids call it the Gram. I hate it, but that's what they do.
Oh, the Gram. Okay, sorry.
So that's for people listening.
Are you looking forward to the Canberra trial Thursday week?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, unfortunately, we won't be there because Thursday, obviously, got to work Friday. It's very difficult. I think we'll see a more Shark-like team, although we won't see Trindle. I dare say we won't see Nico either. And Nico is obviously playing I keep saying obviously, I shouldn't say that, sorry. He's playing the All-Stars game. So there'll be a few players missing, but it'll be closer to full strength. We'll probably see some Fennell Blake because I don't think he's going to play for the Maori team.
So can you fill me in, and I shouldn't be saying this as I'm the Shark guy with one ear to the ground, can you fill me in on the latest with injuries and with Indigenous teams, etc.? What's happening there? So
Nico withdrew from eligibility due to an injury. It didn't say what or anything. It's probably come out since. I don't know. And that game is next Saturday night, I believe. So I doubt he'll be playing Thursday for us if he's unavailable on Saturday.
Right. Okay. And Britain is playing in that game. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Britain and Trindle were both in the promo material that I received.
Okay, gotcha.
So I would guess so, but I'm not 100% sure. I think Nico was captain last year, so I would be shocked if he wasn't, unless it was injury related. Look, selfishly, I want him playing for the Sharks, but also in terms of trial games, that's the big trial game. So you want him playing as many minutes as you can against quality opposition.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm so torn on these trial matches versus the real thing. And the coach kind of put me in my place in the interview last week. He was like, don't worry about it. Like, they got more chance of getting injured at training and that kind of thing. And I found the answer extremely annoying because I just can't relate to that. Of course, I'm going to be nervous about injuries in preseason games. But the positives are very obvious, and that is, getting in sync with your fellow teammates and getting your fitness up. So I've got no problem with that at all. Jason has sent a message. He said, I thought I read an article stating they will not playing All-Stars. And he mentions all. So we might get back to you and all that stuff, or you can do your research on the side. But we're not sure about that as we go there.
The Vegas teams were going to make them unavailable. I thought they got talked into it. So it's very possible that that's been overruled. Look, if I'm being full 100% Shark man here, I'm not letting my players play. I'm taking them to Vegas. Yeah. But again, I mean, Tom Turbo got injured in the shower or running down the Corso, whichever story you want to believe. You know, blokes have fallen over their kids at parties and done ACLs. So injuries are going to happen. I wouldn't be telling you can't play, you can't represent. That would be my personal. But selfishly, I'd also be like, you know, we're going to Vegas, mate. Let's get there early.
Daniel said, is there any updates on Cade? Is he still recovering? And we did talk about that a little bit, Daniel. He's recovering in the sense that he's working his way back into it, but he's definitely in, I would say, close to full training. It might not be, he might still have the pink bib on or whatever, but he's definitely on the comeback trail. So I think you'll be seeing him sooner rather than later.
He looks, this is going to be quality TV, but he looks good in the training photos.
Okay.
If you're listening, let me describe. He looks massive. He looks like his dad, taller, bigger arms, and better head of hair. So I'm sure that'll land well with Adam, who is a good mate.
Have you seen Adam lately? My God.
Yeah, he's a personal trainer at Vision, isn't he? He looks $10 million.
You know what's interesting is he didn't look like that when he played. I know there were different times and different physiques, but he was a tiny little thing.
He was. He's a great dude. Full disclosure, he was my mum's trainer for a long time, and Mum learned a discipline from him that she didn't have before, and he's a genius. I wish him all the best, but he's definitely given us a talented offspring. I will donate my knee, calf, whatever I need, because this kid is so special.
Yeah, so hopefully he can get it together. I saw the Adam Dykes inspirational kind of video, and it was a business one for his gym, trying to get you to come to the gym. And if you haven't seen that, jump on to, do you know what the gym's called? I don't want to give too much free
Vision
stuff here, but Vision, yeah. Jump on their gram, and there's a clip there of Adam talking like direct to camera, and it is unbelievable. It's so intense, and it's just a different person to the guy I used to run around. And obviously, you know, he's 20 years older, 25, 30 years older. But for those of you who are a bit younger, didn't see Adam Dykes play, Cade's dad, he was the most attacking type of footballer you could ever see. Like, he could defend okay, but his whole thing was ad-lib football, basically, in the John Lang era. And, you know, one of those players that could probably win your grand final and potentially throw the intercept pass as well. And I say that with great respect. Like, he was always trying to score points, and that's a good thing. But yeah, anyway, I like the fact that he's still out there, and his son is a Shark. It's great. We've seen him play 2 games already for us. Dan, realistically, what are you looking at for Sharks at the end of the regular season? Where are they going to be?
I hate saying this publicly, but anything less than a comfortable top 4 finish. Building on last year, we got more minutes under the kids that we wanted to. I think the side coming into this year is better than it was last year because of the additions. Obviously, you got the very big addition, and those that don't follow me on Twitter, I saw Fanua Blake at a shopping centre the other day, and you want to talk about big humans, this guy is humongous. And I sort of stood and stared about you to me away from him for about 15 minutes. But no, I walked past him and just sort of nodded, and he nodded back. And then as I was walking back, a young guy who looked like a football fan made eye contact with me, and we both at the same time went, "Whoa," which is universal, the size of that bloke. So, mate, yeah, I'm very excited for this year. Do you think they'll have a crack at the preseason cup trophy?
No, and the reason I say that is that, I think they can achieve whatever they want to achieve. But if you remember, was it 2 years ago, and they had to get one offload out to win it, and they didn't do it, and they had like 10 minutes to do it? They don't care. Like, they legitimately don't care. I'm sure the 100 grand would help someone somewhere, and we're not shirking away from that. But I could almost say that I know. I don't know, but I could almost say I know they don't really care about it. They want to have good performances. They want to have good indicators. And if they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. I mean, you don't really want to lose by 40 2 weeks in a row. If you do, it's not the end of the world. But I think they're just looking to tick some boxes, man.
I was hoping you didn't really remember because I was going to bring that up. Yeah, look, if we play our New South Wales Cup team against their New South Wales Cup team, we're winning this thing because the Jets are so much better than the others. But if you look, anyone who says they're okay with losing trials is lying. You want to win them. You want to win every game. You get in the habit. Yeah. But if that Warriors team beat us 40-20 this week, who cares? Who cares? Canberra, I want to beat because I want to be as close to full strength. But again, as like no injuries and not losing by 20 in both games, that's perfect trials for me because the one that counts is in about 4 weeks' time in Vegas against Penrith.
Yeah, and I completely understand if people buy back and go, no, I'm here to win a trial. Like, fair enough. I don't relate. I'm with you. I want to see no injuries, and I legitimately want to see just good indicators all over the park. You know, I want to see Will Kennedy have a strong game, and he doesn't have to be 10 out of 10, but if he's a 7.5, awesome. If they're all 7.5s, I think it's really good. If they're anything above that, oh, great. You know, we can have. I mean, let's talk about the Stuart Mills trial. Like, if you were old enough to be there, it was the greatest 11 minutes you ever saw a footballer ever play, and I say that with my hand on my heart. But that's all it was, unfortunately. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it actually didn't matter.
Remember a couple of years ago when Bronson Xerri had that trial game where he just lapped everyone for lols? You know, I would dare say Xerri's a little bit more successful than Stewie Mills, but it doesn't matter. I do want to see good trial performances from Iro, Kennedy, Kafusi, Talakai, the rusted on. But again, like a lot of the grief I used to cop for Iro was that he couldn't defend in New South Wales Cup because inside and outside in the New South Wales Cup players, he's a much better defensive centre. So if Talakai does miss a tackle or he's overcompensating for, say, a Puru or something, don't jump to too many conclusions. As long as Kennedy catches the ball well, as long as Iro, runs hard, and as long as Sam Stonestreet scores 5 tries, I'm happy.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you look at the game and it's like, well, I'm going to safely assume that the Warriors 1 to 13 are not going to play more than 40 minutes. I'd be very surprised. They might only play 20 minutes. Like, we're not sure about that. Then you do the whole, well, we were losing 12-0 when they were on, and then their guys went off, but our guys stayed on, and we got it back to 12-6 at halftime. But then both teams went off, and the kids came on, and we won by 20. It's like, it's nonsensical in that point. Like, you sort of don't even want to know what the score is. You don't want to tally tries or kicks because it's all about just the hit outs, and it's about the cohesion and the physical. They probably want to get some physical impact and that kind of stuff, and things that you and I can never relate to, but these football terms that real men who play this game, and women, of course, that's what they want from these trial matches. And I think it's a universal theme. Our good friend Stephen, he's over in Perth, says, I just finished listening to James Graham podcast. Give Sharks no chance of a premiership. I think we'll be up against this train of thought for a long time this year. It's a really good point, Stephen, and hello to you, my friend. On the interview I did with Fitzy, I encourage you to go listen to it. He did say that, the outside noise does get in sometimes. He didn't say it affects them, but they hear things, they feel things, and that's for whatever reason, that's been a constant theme. And I think that the Cowboys win in the final last year will help, but I also think, like many people, we'll still be one from our last 6 finals or whatever. That's how they're going to tell the story. It's true, but also, come on, like, give me a little bit of a break here. But I think Stephen is right. I think that we might hopefully have this great regular season success where we're top 4, but then people will just be like, well, how's Nico going to go? How are they going to lift? has Fitzy got something to lift the – like you're going to hear that, unfortunately. And I think until you have, you know, a prelim win, dare I say grand final win, I think that's just something you're going to have to put up with for quite some time. But
it's completely fair too. We won one premiership. We have to cop that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, Stephen's point is good. Like it's something that – and it's something you might – I know you're on – well, I think you're online a bit more than I am with the general punters, Dan, and it is a universal theme for people who don't follow our team that closely. It's like, oh, I don't fear them. Like, what are they going to do in the finals?
Sharks will choke in the finals. Nico will choke. That's the entire rhetoric. And I know I had a bit of a go when we spoke last year about people being lazy and saying, well, Nico was terrible in the last few weeks. Pre-injury, he was the best player in the competition. He was leading the Dally M medal and he missed 2 weeks. The year before that, he was, again, pre-Origin, he was leading the Dally M count by like 6 points. And the year before that, he won the Dally M. You know, if I'm Nico, I'm saying I'm not available for Origin this year. I think that'll shut a lot of people up. It won't distract him. I don't think Laurie Daly will pick him anyways, but that's another rant. Cronulla will cop this, and I think it's good because, mate, as a Shark fan, I hate hearing people say, geez, your team's going to be good. No, don't say that. We're going to be crap. Because we need to fight against that. That's when Cronulla are at their best. But if I'm being hand on heart serious, I haven't been this excited about a team since 2018 because I was convinced we would make a grand final in 2018. Fell a game short.
Yeah.
But this side is better than what we had in 2018. That worries me as a Sharks fan. But if the Sharks don't believe they can win a premiership, that's a problem. What anyone else in the world says doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I mean, there is kind of no excuse this year because of who you've recruited and because of the way you played, dare I say, in the finals. Okay, Melbourne game, we probably weren't going to win that one, but they showed enough backbone for half a game to be in it, and they completely mucked up the second half. Cowboys, they dominated, and Penrith is a whole other saga, but I'll verbally discuss with anyone the fact that they matched them for 65 minutes. Now, okay, you got to do it for 80. I get that. Mm-hmm. But for our little team that couldn't do anything to go out there and do what they did was super impressive. And I think if they could have their time again, I think they walk away with the win. And for them to then take a step back this year would be a failure. So it's a lot of pressure on them, you know, inside, outside. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure. There's obviously a lot of expectation. But that's what you want. Like, I don't want to be, you know, the 2005 Sharks where we snuck into the finals and kind of whimpered out knowing we didn't really have the team. We have the team. What you need is a lot of luck. And you need, so luck on the field, bounce of the ball, lack of injuries. The rest is kind of there. Like if they don't get it right, that'll be on them. And then we can look into what went wrong. But really, for me, it's as simple as you had a really good team, you went really close, and now you brought in Fanua Blake. And that's a lot of pressure on him, but that's who he is. He's one of the best props in the game. Same with Nico Hines. Like Nico gets paid a lot of money, and as you said, he had really, really remarkable games throughout his career. They're a little bit circumstantial for most of them when he hasn't reached his potential. There's some like the Canterbury game, which is just there's no reason. He just missed a field goal, you know. But he's a really good player. We've got really good players. I'm convinced we've got a really good coach. And there is a lot of expectation on them from our fan base, and I think within just the organization. Now, as Stephen says, no one else kind of probably wraps them. And as you say, I think that'll work to our advantage.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to ask me, where would you rank our side? There's an obvious top two. Everyone in the world knows that. And I think us and Brisbane have the best rosters after. To win a premiership, you need incredible depth. Cronulla got the best depth in the competition. Newtown just won the comp. The Flag almost won the comp, despite facing impossible odds. The Panthers have lost a whole heap of players, Melbourne haven't, but Melbourne don't have that drop back. Their New South Wales Cup team is, in the Queensland Cup.
Yeah.
And, it's split, so they don't have that cohesion. So everything should be in Cronulla's favour. You're right, we need to fly under the radar, Stephen, 100%. I think us being Cronulla, not Brisbane. Brisbane or South lose a game, it's the end of the world. Cronulla lose a game or the Tigers lose a game, who cares? Small market. Last year we were, 9-1 or 8-1 or something, and no one gave us a shot. We went in against the Cowboys. Not my Cowboys fans are laughing, going, we'll beat you guys. When are we playing Penrith? And for a point, even though we're 24-0 up, when they scored that try and then they almost scored again, you're starting to think, here we go again. So they've got to get past that. So do fans.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, Nico, the only way he can shut people up is by being the best player in the competition, unless you're going to cop grief.
Yeah.
Can he do that? Yes, he can, because he's done it before. But I think our fan base, and I'm very, very guilty of this. They've picked Nico as the scapegoat. For me, it was always Bailey, because he touches the ball more than anyone. Nico's the halfback. They're going to get fairly targeted, but there were games like the Bulldogs game you mentioned. Everyone's talking about how well Matt Burton played. He missed 3 field goals before he kicked the winner. Yes, Nico missed the absolute gimme, but we didn't give him a chance to take a second shot. Their team got Burton in with 4th or 5th shots. He missed a heap. So that doesn't come in. They go, don't get me wrong, Nico should have made the attempt.
Yeah.
But to blame him for what happened last year is crap, because he and Trimble were fantastic. The entire team was really good last year. We just got beaten by the greatest dynasty we'll ever team. I reckon if we play on the other end of the draw, we'd probably win that game and lose the grand final. So I'm super stoked going in this year, which again worries me because
yeah, but I do double down on the fact, damn it, it's where we want to be. Like there's not a lot of fun in doing stuff like this preseason and you're rebuilding. I mean, there is fun. There's positives, young players to look up to. I get that. But this is kind of where you want to be as a sports fan, because we're not Penrith, so it's not the expectation we're going to win it. We're not Melbourne, so we don't have that kind of legacy history. And we're not Brisbane, so we don't have that big market. Where we've got a big fan base spread out all around the world, but when it comes to kind of, NRL media, we know how it works. We're kind of one of the smaller clubs, but one of the more successful ones. Like, we've made every final except for a few in, 10, 15, 20, however long it's been. You guys know the stats. And whilst we're always kind of in the hunt, the window is definitely vastly open, and that does worry us. But also it's something to sort of hang your hat on, I reckon, because as fans, we don't always get this opportunity. Penrith fans have had it for 5 years. Melbourne get it every year. The Roosters are kind of in or about every few years. For us, 2016, 2018, last season, but it's not every year. So I think it's so exciting, and there's a lot of pressure.
Absolutely, there's pressure, but mate, there's probably 5 teams going into the competition this year that can genuinely win it. So, and we're one of the 5. And again, I hate saying these things out loud because people clip it and remind when we finish 6th or whatever. But I mean, grand final day last year was fantastic because we had 3 teams playing. We go back the week before and we had 2 plus our 2 teams playing a prelim. Being a Sharks fan now is as good as it's ever been. So, look, if you can't get positive about this upcoming year, maybe football is not for you. There is another Sharks team playing out at Shark Park, and I genuinely say anyone that can, please support them because I love that team almost as much as the Sharks we're talking about now. But, mate, look, there's good things on the horizon.
Are you excited about NRL dub?
Hugely, mate. It's a real... I don't want to say this publicly, but it's a shame Caitlin Johnson-Green won't be available because I had us pegged as premiership favourites with her. Without her, we lost 3 forwards that she was going to cover, which sucks. But obviously, for those who don't know, she's pregnant, and that is far more important than football games. Her contract will be extended by a year. The NRL cover it under the bargaining agreement. We will get a replacement. We've just lost Holly Wheeler, which really, really sucks. But yeah, mate, I think we're the 3rd best team again next year. But look, if we make it to a grand final, I think we'll go one better because of Georgia Hanaway.
Yeah, it's exciting. I was speaking to someone I won't name, but a listener and a sponsor of the show who has a vested interest in the women's pathway, and it's looking healthy from the lower grades in the NRL women's side of things up until first grade, so to speak. Like the Sharks system is one of the best, and again, it's something you can get really excited about. And there's more teams this year. There's going to be more games. There's going to be more coverage. And it all starts this week, Dan, with the men, 7:30 Friday. It's only a few nights away, dude.
I know, I'm getting excited, mate. Right now, my phone is literally going off. So when I get off this, I'll spend the next hour. People are excited, mate. They want rugby league. They want us back in their ears, which I will be forever grateful for. So thank you. But mate, didn't you just miss that team on Tuesday, Phil, and the set your super coach and your tips are in, and we got to draft this week. What time we meet at the game? Oh, rugby league is there, and it makes me very, very happy.
It makes you happy, except for when it doesn't. That's the beautiful thing about it.
Yeah, but I'm happy being angry because I'm angry at people I love. Mate, you don't hate unless you love, right?
We're getting pretty deep now. Hey, Dan, thanks for joining us. Fins up, Dan. And what else do you do? Tell us what else you do officially.
Rugby League Outlaws.
Yes.
Zero tackle. I'm everywhere. But yeah, Fins up, we're recording tonight. Rugby League Outlaws, we're also recording tonight. So both will drop some stage either tonight or tomorrow. Lots of Shark talk because we're into our top 4 previews. And spoiler alert, we're there.
All right. Sounds good. And yeah, that's about it. We just wanted to jump on and do a bit of a stream. We didn't get to the Insta because of my tech inabilities, shall we say, but we got a pretty good stream here, Dan. I think I've worked out the problem, and I'm not happy about it because it means lots and lots of money coming in my bank account. That's what it means. But that's okay. That's okay. It's one life we have, and let's spend it on computers. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We'll turn this into an audio podcast for you all. And we'll be back with lots of episodes coming up, including, dare I say, post-game Friday with hopefully a injury-free, lots of touching woods report on how the Sharkies went. So till then, we're going to say goodbye. Dan, appreciate you, my friend. Can't thank you enough. Hope you enjoyed Royal Rumble. Probably don't have time to get into all that, but that'll be another episode of something or other. Oh, yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to do WE Supercoach.
So we're going to do Supercoach?
WWE Supercoach.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do WWE Supercoach, mate. JSO all the way. Once again, for the 0.5% of people know what we're talking about. Yeet.
Yes. Or far too. We better go. We're talking wrestling. Up, everyone. Appreciate you guys and girls. See you later. Bye.